Let's just jump right in. Think about the last time you absolutely crushed it. A big win at work, a project that went perfectly, when everything clicked into place. What was the first thing you thought? Probably something like, yeah, I did that. I made that happen.
Okay, now let's flip that. What about the last time something went completely off the rails? It's funny, isn't it? Our brain immediately starts looking for culprits. The timing was all wrong, or I just didn't get the support I needed, or, the classic, it was just bad luck.
So let me ask you, does that sound fair? I mean, really, we take all the glory for the wins, but when we lose, we point the finger at everything and everyone else. It feels totally natural, though, doesn't it? Well, that feeling, that instinct, actually has a name. It's one of the most common thinking errors we all make. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the self-serving bias, this automatic, powerful impulse to cast ourselves as the hero in our own success stories and, well, the victim when things go south. So first up, let's look at what I like to call the success and failures switch. We're going to break down how it works and, more importantly, where you can spot it in your own life. So what is this thing officially? Well, the self-serving bias is basically our brain's default setting. When we succeed, we chalk it up to internal stuff, our talent, our smarts, our grit. But when we fail, we immediately look for external reasons, things that are totally outside of our control. It's like we have two different rule books for winning and losing. And this slide, this is just a perfect real-world example. Look at the left. The project is a hit. The story we tell ourselves is, I worked hard. My decisions were spot on. It's all me, me, me. But now look at the right. The project bombs. Suddenly the story changes completely. The requirements were a mess. The timing was impossible. It's the same person, same project, but the explanation does a complete 180 based on the outcome. And don't think for a second this is just a work thing. Oh no, this bias is everywhere. At school, you aced that exam because you're a genius, but you failed the other one because the professor made it way too hard. In sports, you won because of your skill. You lost because the ref was terrible. It even messes with our personal relationships. This bias is basically the ghostwriter for our life story, and it's always trying to make us look good. Now, it's so easy to hear all this and think, wow, that sounds kind of arrogant. But here's the fascinating part. Psychologists don't see this as some kind of character flaw. In fact, they see it as your brain's built-in self-defense mechanism. It's not a bug in your programming, it's a feature. See, you've got to understand something fundamental about your brain. Its number one job isn't to be accurate. Its number one job is to help you survive. And a big part of that is protecting your ego, your self-image. So when it's forced to choose between an accurate, painful truth and a comfortable, ego-saving story, well, guess which one it usually picks. And why does it do this? It's all about self-preservation. This bias is like your psychological immune system. It swoops in to protect your self-esteem, it shields you from feeling shame when you mess up, and it keeps your confidence intact so you'll actually get back up and try again. Because, let's be honest, admitting I was the problem can feel like a genuine threat. But, and this is a huge but, that very same protective shield can become a prison. When that self-protection goes unchecked, when it runs on autopilot, it can flip into straight-up self-sabotage. Think about it. If nothing is ever your fault, why would you ever need to change? If the problem is always out there, then you never have to look at what's going on in here. The moment we offload responsibility, we slam the door on any chance to learn, to adapt, and to grow. And this chart really lays out the cost. You can see it right there. It prevents learning, which means you're just going to keep making the same mistakes. It creates these huge blind spots about your own weaknesses. It absolutely damages relationships. Nobody wants to be around someone who's never wrong. And in a team setting, it just kills accountability and escalates every little conflict. It's a real problem. Okay, so that's the bad news. But the good news is, we are not slaves to this instinct. We can fight back. We can actually reclaim our personal growth. It just takes a few conscious, deliberate steps. All right, here's your toolkit. 4 steps. First, after any outcome, good or bad, force yourself to ask the question, okay, honestly, what was my role in this? Even if it was tiny. Second, go ask for feedback. Find someone you trust and ask them what they saw. They don't have your blind spots. Third, apply the same standard to yourself that you apply to other people. If your colleague blamed bad timing, would you buy it? Probably not.
And fourth, and this one is the real game changer, you have to learn to separate your identity from the outcome. This right here is the whole key. A single failed project does not make you a failure. Making one bad call doesn't make you a bad person. The moment you truly understand that being wrong about something is not the same as being fundamentally flawed as a person, man, that is so freeing. It gives you permission to own your mistakes without feeling shame. And that brings us right to the heart of it all. If we really truly want to get better at our jobs and our relationships, just as people, we have to make a very difficult choice. And that choice is this. We have to pick intellectual honesty over emotional comfort. It's hard. It goes against our wiring. Our brain is constantly chasing that feeling of comfort. But all of our real growth, all the good stuff, is waiting for us just on the other side of that discomfort. So the question I'll leave you with is pretty simple. Are you willing to be a little uncomfortable to gain a whole lot of